Hi guys, welcome back to the Curly Reader. Today I want to share with you my TBR for the Believe in the Impossible readathon, I think is the official name of it. But I am calling it the Believathon because I think that's easier to remember. But anyway, this is a readathon that is hosted by Gavin Hetherington, I believe. I will leave his channel and announcement video linked down below, but it is a middle grade readathon. So this is a readathon that is encouraging everybody to pick up more children's literature and middle grade reads throughout, and it goes throughout the entire month of November. So yeah, let's get into this. So for this readathon, it's kind of more complex than a lot of the readathons that I participate in normally. But he has he has a whole thing that you can download explaining all of the challenges, and it includes recommendations for books if you're kind of stuck on a challenge and you don't know what to pick up. But so there are 10 challenges. His requirement for participating, which I don't know, like who's policing this, but whatever, is to do 4 books throughout the month, which will not be an issue for me. So that's why I'm just like, whatever. But there are 4 different books he wants you to read throughout the month in order to say that you have participated. And in order to complete those 4 books, he has 10 different challenges and a group book. So it's kind of a lot. But I think if you think like, okay, if I can read 4 middle grade books throughout the month, that's 1 book a week. Middle grade reads pretty fast, so it shouldn't be a big deal. I do have books picked out for all 10 challenges, so we'll see how many I actually get to. I would ideally like to complete a lot of these, but we'll see. November's pretty booked for me. I also have the nonfiction November read along or readathon, and then there is a buzzword readathon from Books and Lala that's also taking place in November, plus Thanksgiving and just holidays are starting up and life in general. So we'll see how many I actually get to, but I do have a book picked out for all 10 challenges. So we'll see. All right. The group book out the gate is called Frostheart. I don't remember the author, but I'll put a picture of it up here. And this is a book I had never heard of before, but apparently this is one of Gavin's favorite middle grade books that he has read. It's not out in the United States yet, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a hold of it because I don't plan on purchasing it. I'll only get it if my library gets it before the end of November. So we'll see. And I really don't know much about what this is about, other than I believe it is about this boy who goes on a quest on a ship with a bunch of friends or whatever. And I think there's magic involved in it. I don't know. So I might check it out if, like I said, if my library gets it, but if not, it's no big deal. Outside of that, I tried to pull the majority of the rest of my picks for these 10 challenges off of my shelves. I have started accumulating a lot of middle grade books, and I really need to start reading off my shelves. And so most of these are off of my shelves, which I'm very happy about. And that's why I'm going to really try to get all of these read, because I think I can do it, and it'll knock a bunch of these off of my physical TBR shelf. So the first challenge is to read a book that features magic. And sorry, I stacked all these books up and they're not in order. So I'm going to be pulling books and knocking them over, I'm sure. But anyway, so the book that I picked featuring magic is Peter Nimble and His Fantastic Eyes by Jonathan Auxier. I read Sweep by Jonathan Auxier earlier this year during middle grade March, and ever since I've been wanting to pick up more of his books. And so this is one that I had picked up earlier this year at a thrift store. But this is about Peter, and I think he has eyes that, a box containing 3 pairs of magical eyes. He finds this box, and when he tries the first pair, he's instantly transported to a hidden island where he's presented with a special quest. So, this fits into that challenge, and this is on my fall TBR. So, 2 birds, 1 stone. 3 birds, 1 stone. Physical TBR, fall TBR, middle grade readathon. Boom. So that's my book featuring magic. The next prompt is to read a book featuring a myth or legend. This is one that I kind of have been going back and forth on, but I think I finally landed on reading The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. This is one that I have been wanting to read since last year and just I haven't gotten around to it yet. But this is the way that I'm saying that this is featuring a myth or legend is because the town in this thinks that every year they have to sacrifice a child to this witch in the woods, and the witch takes the child and then protects the village, when in actuality that's not what happens. The witch comes and gets the child and then takes it to another village to be adopted, and she doesn't understand why they keep leaving children in the woods. So yeah, and that I think is the myth or legend that I am gonna focus on this, is that it's the legend of this witch coming and getting this child and then or eating the child or whatever it does. I know that was kind of intense, but I don't know what exactly the legend of this witch is in the book, but anyway, that's what I know about the book. And then she gets a child, and instead of, she accidentally feeds it moonlight, and the child starts getting powers. And yeah, I've heard fantastic things about this book, and I just gave a very, very crappy summary of what I think it's about. But I'm very excited to read it, and I've heard really, really good things about it. So yeah, that's the one I'm going to read for the myth legend kind of book. All right, the next prompt is to read a book that features, read a book with real life issues. And for this one, I'm going to be reading The Great Gilly Hopkins. This is by Catherine Patterson, and this is about a little girl who goes through foster care, the foster care system. It's very, very short, and it's a Newbery Honor book. So is The Girl Who Drank the Moon. Oh, Girl Who Drank the Moon. The Girl Who Drank the Moon is a Newbery Medal winner. This one's a Newbery Honor. I don't know what the difference is. So yeah, I'm sure somebody will school me on that. But anyway, that's what I know about this, and it's on my shelf, and so I need to read it because I've never read it. And there's a movie out of this too. I know that. All right, moving on. Read a book that is set in the past. For this one, I am going to read, where did it go? Fever, 1793 by Laurie Halse Anderson. This is a story that has to do with the yellow fever, I think, that is in Philadelphia in 1793. And I think this little girl's best friend dies, maybe. But yeah, so it's set during 1793, though. This one has been on my shelf for a long time, and I've never read it. So I'm gonna knock that one out. All right, next, a book with a strong sense of friendship. For this one, I am going to be reading The Lions of Little Rock. This is by Kristen Levine. This is one that I've recently picked up in a thrifted book haul, and this is about these two little girls. I don't know if they're both 12, but one of them's 12. It says 12-year-old Marley. I'm assuming they're both the same age. It is set in Little Rock, Arkansas in 1958. It's during segregation and when they start combining the schools, I think. And it's just about these two friends. One is white, one is, I think she gets in trouble for being white passing. Liz is caught for passing for white and leaves school without even a goodbye. Marley decides she wants her friend back, but to stay friends, Marley and Liz must be willing to take on segregation and the dangers their friendship could bring to both their families. So that sounded perfect for this, and it's also set in the past. So, so that's another one. The next one is to read a atmospheric or creepy book. I don't really understand a lot of these prompts, I'm going to be completely honest, because a lot of them don't have a lot to do with general middle grade, but that's okay. I'm just gonna go with it. Why not? So this one is to read an atmospheric or creepy book, and That's not something I typically do. However, this past month during Spookathon, I read Small Spaces by Catherine Arden, and that was very good. And so she has a second book to that like series, or I don't know if it's actually a series or not, but it's called Dead Voices. It takes place over winter time, over a winter holiday, and it is creepy. It's about ghosts. It's a ghost story. So I figured I'd go ahead and read this to fulfill that challenge. And I really enjoyed Small Spaces. I thought it was really good. So, and very creepy. Just enough creepy for me because I don't like creepy things. So, middle grade creepy is about all I can handle. So, I figured I'd go ahead and give this one a shot. All right, the next one is to read a seasonal book. And so for this one, I decided to go ahead and pick Greenglass House by Kate Milford. This is another one that I had gotten from the thrift store without really knowing what it was about. But apparently it takes place over winter time, and it's like over the winter holiday, and it is about this the Creaky Smuggler's Inn is always quiet during winter, and Milo, the innkeeper's adopted son, plans to spend his holidays relaxing. But on the first icy night of vacation, out of nowhere, the guest bell rings, and then rings again and again. Soon Milo's home is bursting with odd, secretive guests, each one bearing a strange story that is somehow connected to the rambling old house. As objects go missing and tempers flare, Milo and Meddy, the cook's daughter, must decipher clues and untangle the web of deepening mysteries to discover the truth about Greenglass House and themselves. So it takes place during winter, and it was sitting on my shelf. It needs to be read. So, all right. The next one is to read a book with an animal character. This is the only one that I haven't solidified one specific book that I'm going to read for it yet. I have a few to choose from. The two right now that I pulled are Stuart Little by E.B. White and Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne. These are both ones that I've thrifted and have never read. I'm also contemplating reading Charlotte's Web, also by E.B. White. And then I also have Flora and Ulysses by Kate DiCamillo, which has a hamster in it. And I don't know. I have quite a few that have animal characters, but these are two that are both very short that I think will be really quick reads that I could get through to fulfill that challenge. And they're classics that I need to read anyway. So, yeah. All right, moving on. A classic. Read a classic children's book. So for this, I am picking Little Women. Will take me all month to read this. But this is one that is also on my fall TBR, and I really, really, really want to read this before the movie comes out at Christmas time. So I am making it a priority, and I'm going to get this done. So yeah, this is my pick for the classic. And then the last prompt, which this is the one prompt that I really love, and that is to reread a childhood favorite. And I just think that's such a great prompt for a middle grade readathon, specifically for adults. And for this, I am picking up Matilda by Roald Dahl. I don't have a lot of bookish, specific bookish memories as a child. I know I like to read. I know that I love being in the library and I love being around books, but I don't have any specific books that I remember reading as a child other than Boxcar Children or Babysitter's Club or things like that. However, when I was in 5th grade, my 5th grade teacher read out loud Matilda to our class, and that's the only time I remember a teacher reading out loud a chapter book to me. And so yeah, I have ever since, I don't think I've ever actually picked it up and read it since then. 5th grade, guys, that was a long time ago. But yeah, so I really, really have been wanting to pick this up and read it again. And now is the perfect time. And yeah, so Matilda is about a little girl who hates her parents, her parents hate her, or she doesn't hate her parents, but her parents hate her. She's a huge inconvenience to them. And she goes to a school that is just odd, but she comes to realize that she has telekinesis, and she can move things with her mind, and she becomes friends with her teacher, and her teacher kind of uh, they just form this bond, and it's just about them. So anyway, I loved this book as a child, and I loved the experience of my teacher reading it out loud to me, and so this is one that I've been wanting to reread, and so this is a perfect time to do it. So that's it. Those are the books that I am planning to read for the middle grade Believathon during November. Like I said, I'm also going to be participating in Nonfiction November and the Buzzword Readathon that are also taking place this month. So it'll be a lot of reading, but I'm hoping since it's a lot of middle grade, it'll go fast, and I'll be able to knock a few of these out with audiobooks as well. So, and middle grade audiobooks go super fast. So, yeah, shouldn't be an issue. Anyway, if you are planning on participating in the Believathon, I would love to know some of the books that you're looking forward to reading. As always, if you have read any of these books and you have any comments about them, I would love to hear that down below. And if you have any middle grade recommendations for me in general, I love reading middle grade. And so, yeah, I'd love to hear those recommendations. Other than that, I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that you stick around and subscribe. And until next time, see ya!